Tradition lives here. Okanagan Sun Football with Ryan Waters.
With each new Okanagan Sun season comes changes, and new people in new positions. For example, Bill Long is the new president. Bobby Davis could be the new number one quarterback. One position, however, that is noticeably absent from the Suns front office is a general manager. Most teams across sports have an individual who sits in that GM chair. The Sun, however, are trying things a little differently. Team president Bill Long explains why that chair has not been filled by a single person.
Well, there isn't a general manager because we felt there wasn't one person who could do all the jobs that were required under what the general manager's position had evolved into. It was considered in finding either one person do the job or really divide it into the three components that the general manager's job entails.
Well, what are those three components and who's looking after them?
Well, the three components involve, running the clubhouse and the day-to-day operations within the clubhouse, looking after the training staff and the support staff, assisting the head coach with recruiting, and then the third one would be assisting the players in their search for jobs and housing. We thought that it would be far more efficient, and there's some very talented people on the board of directors and off the board of directors, take advantage of their skills rather than overload one person. So we've got Howie Zeron as our director of recruiting, working with Pete. We've got Bill Adams, who's looking after simply housing and jobs, and I shouldn't really use the word simply in front of that because that's a pretty big job at this point. Yeah. And then Terry Britton, who's been and Ray Wheatley, actually, the two of them who have been our sort of a team manager with Ray Wheatley, and Terry Britton's been in our training staff for years and from day one. Those two together sort of run the operations within the clubhouse. They handle making sure that we have enough equipment, that we have all the things in place, that when we travel, that our arrangements for travel are all in place, etc. So it's just a matter of dividing up a very, very heavy workload into something much more manageable.
Was this something that you wanted to change when you took over this football team? Well,
actually, it was sort of in the works before. It sort of happened back in November of last year, and I think there was just a feeling that there needed to be a change in the way that we divided up that workload, because it went from Les Weiss, who did it for 15 years, and then Derek Malinchuk was the GM for 2 years, but even then he succumbed to the massive amount of workload. And so when we saw that, we said, listen, we can't do this. We're going to be burning people out.
Is this the future of this position, or do you think you will eventually have one person sitting in that chair or having the title of general manager?
I think for the foreseeable future, we're going to carry on with the way it is. I think it works very, very, very well right now. The proof will be in the pudding when we get into the season and later on. But right now, there's some very talented people, and when you've got a fellow like Howie Zeron who can just focus on recruiting, and Bill Adams who can just focus on housing, then we're getting an awful lot of work done in a short span of time.
Do you think other teams, not only in football but in other sports, may kind of copy your formula if it does work?
Oh, I don't think they will. No, I think that in other teams and stuff, with respect to general managers, there's a lot of ego involved, and people want to run the show. They want to be the guy. Well, we don't think that way. The team is the guy. We try and think as a group and think as a unit. So we will, in the foreseeable future, and I'm going to say, for 3, 4, 5 years down the road, I don't think we'll ever have one person with that much authority or autonomy in the system.
The general manager by committee is a new concept, and it will take time to determine if the Suns' formula will be successful. The Sun rises on their 30th season on July 24th with a trip to Kamloops to take on the Broncos. Until next time, I'm Ryan Waters.